First thing I recommend anybody do is purchase a helmet donut. I got this one from one of the online retailers. It's manufactured by Icon, and these are really handy. You can set your helmet down on this and press on it and do all the work you want, and it will not damage it, and it'll hold it in place while instead of trying to roll around the table. So get yourself a nice helmet donut, or make yourself one. So begin the installation process. We have to disassemble the helmet a little bit. The first thing that we're going to do is to take off the chin wind deflector, and we're going to try to set those pieces in more or less the order that they came off. Next piece we're going to remove is the chin curtain, I do believe. Perhaps not. Not too sure how this goes. It's always kind of scary to take these apart because after all, they are rather expensive, and you want them to be working as well after you put everything in as they were when you first got them. So there goes the wind protector. Now we're left with the cheek pieces. These usually just snap out. So I spared you some of the wrestling I did, but they do indeed snap out. There are 3 snaps holding this one in, and this fits into the space between the inner cushion and the helmet outside. So you need to remove that to have access to this. Not too sure how this is going to appear here, but you've got to have clear access to the cutout that's been provided by Shoei for the installation of the speakers. Most modern helmets do provide a space to put a set of speakers in because everybody is installing Bluetooth communicator devices. I would advise you to check that and make sure that that is so of any helmet you're considering purchasing. In addition, some helmets are made to be fitted and are already fitted in the interior with the wiring and the antennas necessary to install an aftermarket communication device. I've not tried one of those yet, but I must say it's pretty tempting, especially when you're disassembling such a beautiful, finely crafted and engineered piece of protective gear like this Shoei helmet is. So we've got the rider's right side cheek pad off, and we're going to do the left side cheek pad next. Cheek pads have been removed, so all that remains to do now in the pre-installation phase is to remove these, I'm not too sure I can get you a good view of this, but to remove these interior padded pieces to have access to the recesses cast into the helmet for the remote speakers. Okay, stand by, we'll do that. So that actually went very easily. Here's the piece that comes pre-installed on the helmet. There is padding around it. It just slips in under these little tabs here for the helmet recess. And if I set this down, once again, sorry, it's sort of a dark view, folks, but hopefully you can see in there and see that recess that's provided for an aftermarket communication setup. All right, we're going to take the other side out next. Okay, our next step is to install the speaker back pads, the corresponding opposite Velcro side to the speaker in the ear pocket canals there. Okay, we peel off the backing like this. We look for that ear mount and we set it right in the center of it, right in the center. Next step is to install the speaker itself. They are marked. I don't think this is going to come out. They are marked left and right, so there is an orientation to these. This one is marked left. So the part I'm a little curious about is that you would think this would be facing down, but then I'd have to loop this up and around. So it's got to go in more or less like this, I do suppose, with this tabbed area going up, because these little sound pickups go forward. So we're going to try that. We'll see how it all works out. Bear with us. We're going to place it. So as we install these, we want the connector side, the part that you would have to touch with your finger and operate the communication device, to be on the left-hand side. That's because your right hand is the throttle and the front brake, the two most important controls you probably have in motion, and your left hand can generally be more freed in general motorcycle riding to manipulate those controls. So we just check to see which ear pad puts this closest to the left side, and I've got that set there. So we're going to start now setting the speaker down inside the recess. Next step is to put the right side over on the right side of the helmet, repeating the process we used here. And to do this, we're going to need to push this through and under the helmet lining to get it over there. We'll go through the helmet lining, and that'll keep the wires away from our head. Okay, next step. Okay, we've changed the orientation on the helmet. We have it lying on its right side now. And what I've done is I've taken the speaker here. Let's see if you can see that. Not sure you can. But what I've done is I've taken the speaker here, snaked it through the helmet liner, so it's above the helmet liner, and it's setting there now down in the recess. This part's going to go back up here, of course. So I'll pull that out of the way. Okay, next step is to do as we did on the other side and put the Velcro pad into that speaker recess, so kindly provided by the Shoei Helmet Company. Okay, we now have the left side installed. Put the Velcro pallet pad down, now have the left side installed. So most of our hard work is over here. Now I'm going to reassemble the cheek pads and the breath deflector mouthpieces forward, and we're going to locate these little speaker pickups here around the area of the mouth per the uClear instructions. There is a little hole on this speaker pickup. It forms a boom across your mouth, and you have to, the only hard part is to make sure that that little hole, and I'm not sure this is going to show up on here, but there is maybe, yeah, you could just catch that little hole there. Let's turn it over. You'll see there is no hole. Okay, so we just want that hole to be positioned so that it does face towards your mouth. That's the major challenge. Okay, going back to reassembly now with the cheek pads, etc., etc. Okay, cheek pads are now reinstalled, and the speakers are installed on both sides of the helmet. And I'm going to go ahead and see if we can't pair it up right now. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to fib to you. I'm going to be honest and say that threading it through and taking these pads out and putting them back in, a little bit of a fiddly job. I truly do believe that anybody can use it, but just be aware that you've got to snake things through, and your hands are either large or small to get them in there. But you can do it. I trust it, and these things are all designed. All these pads are designed to come in, come out, and into the helmet for cleaning and other chores. So let's move on to phase 2 here before we reinstall the aerodynamic and wind part there, and see if we can't pair this up. So I powered on and paired with my device. I know that's so because I've got a blinking blue light here. It recognizes it, gives me the firmware date, and my first task is to update the firmware. I'm not going to do that online because that would be very boring. Okay, we are at the final phase of the installation of the uClear Motion 6 latest generation helmet communicator device into the Shoei X14 Helmet. And to do that, of course, we have to use the mounts so kindly provided by the uClear company. They give us two choices here. This one on my left hand is the newer configuration model. It's made out of plastic. This one on my right hand is a metal stamping and folding, and it's they've used this all along, so it's backwards and forwards compatible, so to speak, with the other systems. Used it all along. Both of them have removable adhesive fasteners, and I will say I've not used, of course, the new one here, but I will say I've never experienced one of the previous generation coming loose from the side of the helmet. I couldn't decide which one to use, but I did find out that the reason they supply both types of mount in the kit that you receive is that certain helmets have different characteristics of curvature, and some of them may be more amenable to one type of mount than the other. Having said that, again, never having experienced a problem here, being a little unused to this one yet, I think let's reorient the helmet for us a little bit so we can see a little bit more of the side. Sorry about that. My donut works perfectly for most purposes. I think that I'm going to, at least in the initial stages, stick with the previous gen. It works quite well and doesn't take up a lot of space, and we can install it on there very easily. So we're going to peel off that adhesive backing and put it on the side of the helmet. The nice thing about these mounts is that you get a very audible click when you've put it in position. There are a couple of grooves on the underside of the receiving unit that correspond with grooves on the attaching unit, and you push it in, you get that click, and you know that it's installed. And as I say, I've never had an issue with one of them coming off or coming loose. Do it again, install, get the click. Okay, we're going to put it on the side. Just like some of the other things, you start by peeling off this adhesive back, and ladies, I must say, that's another advantage you have over us. If you have man-type nails, you've got to get a nail in there to get it started, and sometimes I've had to use little needle nose pliers to get that to come loose, but can be a bit of a pain, but we've got it started there. So we peel off the backing and then stick it onto the side of the motorcycle helmet. Okay, it is attached to the helmet. What's nice with this matte tone Shoei is that it practically disappears on the side of the helmet, which is a nice thing because these are beautifully streamlined helmets, and then we stick bulbous attachments on the outside of them. But it's worth the hassle. So that's on there. As I say, never had one come off. Let's install the uClear Motion 6 detector on the side of it. There it is. Heard the snap, and now we'll attach the wire to it. Oops, there goes the helmet. Okay, the main unit attached to the outside. Now it's only for us to put the USB. Again, really like the fact that this comes down and out at the bottom as opposed to straight in the back, because I think that's going to streamline the look of the wires and things that are out. In the manual, I don't think this is going to show up well on camera at all, but they tell you there's a little uClear symbol. There is an orientation required here, and you put that uClear symbol out facing you, and we just put it in the bottom, press it in, and voila, we are done. We do have the system mounted and ready to go. Okay, that includes the mounting and installation. I'm going to break this up into 3 videos, ladies and gentlemen. We'll do the unboxing, which we previously did with the Motion 6. We've done the installation, removing the pads and setting up all the interior pieces. The next one will be operation. The unit's already paired. I know it works because I've heard the music coming from it, and I got the pairing advice. but I think it's worthy of a separate video. There are so many capabilities in this new device, and I want to share that with all. In any case, we got, as I say, the unboxing and the mounting of the unit itself and its satellite accessories inside the helmet in this magnificent Shoei X14. So, uClear, stand by, and looking forward to trying this.